Boy, did I goof. Have you ever made a bad mistake? Oh, so frustrating, isn't it? I tell you what, in beekeeping, there's always a chance that we're going to make a big mistake. Now, this mistake that I made, I know that a lot of others have made it too. I know that a lot of you probably made it this year. Once I made this mistake, I couldn't believe I did that. People are making this mistakes. I'll give some tips on how not to make this mistake. But the most important thing I want to share with you today is when you're inspecting your hive and this tragic event happens, I want to walk you through what I did and what you should do to save that hive. Stay tuned, watch the video all the way through because I want to walk you through how this would have destroyed my colony. But I'm going to show you what I did, and I want you to hold this in your memory bank so that if it ever happens to you, you'll know what to do. All right, the mistake is about to happen. I want to encourage you. Thank you for subscribing. If you like the contents of my video, please subscribe, and I would appreciate it very much. You decide whether that's a problem or not. You need to watch all of my videos. You can't just watch this one. You miss everything else I said about all the other good stuff. So be sure and look at all my videos. Go binge watching my videos. Now, I can make a lot of excuses why I dropped that frame. Maybe my hands are slippery with propolis, maybe with honey or something. I just didn't have a good grip. Maybe I was worried about the camera or something, but no, I just dropped the frame. And so what happened next was I knew that it was a possibility that the queen could have been on that frame. Now listen closely, guys. I want to give you the tips on what to do when this happens. I know you think it's never going to happen. I know that's in your mind that you're thinking, I'm never going to drop a frame, but mistakes happen. So stay tuned because I want to show you how to deal with this issue. It's really important or you could lose the entire colony. First thing you want to do when you drop your frame like this is immediately look down at the ground and pick the frame up. But listen, step number one, do not, are you listening? Do not move your feet. Your feet have to remain exactly where they are when you drop the frame because you're probably standing in the midst of where the queen fell. And if you decide to back up a little bit, move to the right, move to the left, you're going to accidentally probably step on the queen and kill her. So stay put. The queen could be on your shoe. The queen could be on your pants leg. The queen could be right where you're going to move your foot. So do not move. Isn't this great? If you're enjoying this video so far, be sure and subscribe. I appreciate it so much. Click on the thumbs up button. Tell me you like the video. That goes a long way. And what I want you to do now, look down and I want you to stay right where you are. And hopefully you can reach the frame and pick it up. Pick the frame up and look for the queen. See if she's on that frame. If she's on the frame, all your problems are over. You just put the frame back in the hive and continue your inspection. And hopefully if you can do something, get those bees off the ground, sometimes you can take a little piece of cardboard and let them walk back into the hive or onto the cardboard and kind of brush them off. But whatever you need to do to help those bees get back into the hive, most of them probably were able to pick up and fly back into that hive. It's so close. But the queen won't. So in the case where the queen is not on that frame that you're looking at, you pick the frame up without moving your feet and you look real carefully and you don't see the queen on either side of the frame, the assumption is she's in the hive on the other 9 frames. So what you have to do now is look at this frame carefully that you dropped, set it aside, maybe on a frame hanger or something. Now I want you to look at all the other 9 frames very carefully. One by one, inspect the frames. We have to find the queen. So in my case, I looked through all 9 frames. I didn't see the queen. I inspected all 9 frames again. Thought, maybe I missed her. Maybe I just blew past her. So I want to look at those 9 frames one more time. I look at them again. I didn't see the queen. Third time, I have to see it 3 times. So I look, all 10, it's only 9 frames. It doesn't take that long to look at them 3 times. Didn't see the queen. So what do I do now? Now, I want you to remember this. When you're standing there and you know the queen's not anywhere near you and you drop the frame on the ground, there's bees down by your feet, what you want to do is look at the ground very carefully. Sometimes you can see the queen because bees will form a retinue around her on the ground. It's a giveaway. Now, this happens a lot of times if you see swarms, and a queen gets kind of separated from the swarm. You can see a queen in the grass and she'll have 10, 20, 100 bees around her. So in this case, I want you to look down at your feet, look where you spilt the bees, and I want you to see if you see a retinue, a group of bees that are clustered, just clumped together. That's likely where the queen is. In my case, I didn't see that. But I don't see the queen in the box either. What do? I look for a place to back up a little bit that doesn't have any bees. I can see that I can move around, I can back up, stand out of where the bees are, but make sure no bees are on your shoes, no bees are on your pants leg or something. The queen can be on you. I was working bees one time with my oldest son. He noticed that a queen was on my hat and veil. I've seen queens on my shoes before. So you want to look down, make sure you don't see the queen on you, walking around on you. And now, if you don't see the queen, back up a little bit, get out of the bees. And what you got to do next, look real carefully. If you don't see a clump, I want you to look for the queen walking around on the grass by herself. Now, will she pick up and fly back in the hive? Absolutely not. A lot of you might think, oh, good, I dropped the frame. Maybe the queen's on it. If she was, she'll probably fly back in the hive. Normally, when queens are laying really well, they're too heavy to fly. They're too full of eggs. They're just not going to make it back in flight. And they may try to walk back into the hive, but depending on where she landed, she's not going to make it back. So in my case, I didn't see the queen on the ground. I didn't see it on the 10 frames that I have in that deep. What do you do next? After inspecting the ground really carefully, I didn't see the queen in the grass, saw a lot of bees, and they're starting to pick up and fly back. And the bees that are walking around, not the queen. I'm thinking, oh no, where is she? Did I kill her? What happened? So now there's only one thing left to do, and I want you to remember this. This is something you have to do. I took the deep box off of the bottom board and set it aside. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take the bottom board off the stand and I'm going to look under it and see if she tried to walk back. She was so close to the hive. Maybe she heard the bees, smelt her hive and started walking up the underside of the hive. So that was the next thing to inspect. So I took the bottom board off the hive stand and I turned it where I could see the bees on it. And guess what? Is she on it? Absolutely. Boom, there she is. Well, what do you do now? A lot of you are probably thinking, well, just put it back because she'll walk across the screen and back into the hive from the front. No, she won't. She won't. She never does. Here's what happens. She smells the scent of the colony through the screen. And so she just sits there and thinks, okay, here I am. Why can't I reach you? What's in my way? She doesn't know to walk around. You know that, but she didn't know that. And there's bees starting to collect around her on the bottom side and bees on top. And so she feels the pheromones are all right there. And if you just leave it there, and this has happened to a lot of you, leave a comment if this has happened to you, but you notice there's this cluster of bees under your bottom board. A lot of times this happens with queens that go out on a mating flight. When they fly back, they land, but they don't go in the hive, they go under the hive. And they stand under the hive until bees kind of build up this little cluster. They even can build a comb under there, under the hive. So many people have told me that. And so what you want to do now is you want to pick that queen up off the bottom board by her two back wings and put her back into the deep hive box. Or if you don't want to handle the queen, what you want to do then is see if you can take the bottom board and tap it to where the queen falls into the deep box. Bees are exoskeleton, so it's not going to hurt them like that to do that. Just be careful that you don't smash bees doing it. Now, if I had done nothing, if I would have just said, oh, I just assume I missed seeing her, I don't want to take the hive apart, I don't want to see if she's under the bottom board. If I had done nothing, would they have raised another queen? That's what bees are supposed to do, yes. But do they always do what they're supposed to do? Absolutely not. Even bees make mistakes. And they shouldn't, but they do. And so I didn't want to go through the whole process. It's not a big colony. I don't really want to lose time waiting for them to raise another queen. That's going to take 30 days to get a layer again, a laying queen. So I'm going to pick her up by her wings, put her back in the hive. And so that happened to me, and I know it can happen to you. But when it happens, remember, these are some great tips, guys. Don't step around when it happens. Keep your feet flat. Stay right there. Look for the queen down there. Pick the frame up, put it back. Don't move. Look on your feet really good. See if you see the queen down there. If you don't see the queen, inspect all the frames. If you don't see her inside the box, you're going to have to take the box off and you're going to have to look under the bottom board. Now, had I not found her under the bottom board, you know what I've done next? I would have inspected the hive stand. Those hive stands, or any hive stands really, have a lot of notches where the queen could get into a little dark corner or something. Some of you might use cinder blocks to hold boards across, and she could be in those little holes in cinder blocks and all. So you just have to be like an examiner, investigator, and look at everything possible, every place possible where the queen could be. But here's the thing. Did I feel bad or stupid for making that mistake? Well, a little bit, but no, not really. You know, was it because I was trying to handle a frame that had some honey on it? It made it slippery. It doesn't matter. I dropped the frame. You just move on. You just make it happen, right? And so I would never let that keep me from inspecting my colonies, from handling frames and all that. I want to show you a tip on how to handle a frame so that you don't drop it. Here's a frame that I just grabbed from behind me, and it's actually, do you know what this is? Yeah, you guys that raise queens, you know what this is. This is a grafting frame that we put the frame bars in that hold the cells. And so these little bars just slip in and out like this. So you can do your grafting. Cell bars go across like this. But I want to show you, how do you handle a frame? There's a lot of different ways that people say you should handle a frame. And a lot of people have different techniques. The technique that I was taught when I first started keeping bees was to look at this side of the frame, and then when you want to see the other side of the frame, you have these ears or these little lips of the frame hanging out here, and you pinch them with your thumbs and you spin it over like this so you can look at the other side. Now, I have been in a lot of courses and classes and projects with other beekeepers, and I've heard them teach this method of just looking and flipping and looking. It's real easy. But again, it's real easy to drop, because these ears over here in this room with my hands like this, I can get a pretty good grip because it doesn't weigh anything. But you get a frame full of honey or bees or something, a lot of weight to it, it's not uncommon for it to slip out of your fingers. And so that's not a lot of area right here to grab onto, just that little lip surface there. So you have to realize that you have to get a really tight grip. And if you have gloves on, especially the ones that I show you that are like leather, like rubber, and you get a little honey on that rubber, boy, that's slippery. Now, another way that I've seen people handle frames is they will hold it like this to look at it, but when they get ready to look at the other side, they actually spin it around like this. And that way they can see the other side and look at it. I don't think there's a right or wrong way. I think both work really well. I would say for you, not dropping a frame, it just means really staying aware how easy it is to drop a frame. And get this. In my classes, those of you that have signed up for a lot of my online classes, thank you so much. I teach that it's important to do your inspection, and I didn't really do it in the video, but you should always hold the frame over the hive. In case you drop it, it falls onto the top of the box, and the bees go back in the box. But you know, we get a little sloppy, or sometimes we're trying to see a frame maybe with the sun, behind us, so we can't really hold it over the box. We have to step back in the sun or something. It's going to happen. So the best thing that you can do is be aware that it's easy to drop a frame and your queen can be on that frame. You have to hold it like this firmly, hold it like this firmly, and make sure that you're always considering, do I have the best grip on this frame? Even when you have to look at the other side, either by turning it this way. Now, turning it this way means you have to put your hand in the middle and kind of get a good grip here and then shift your hand a lot. I don't personally like that. I like holding it like this because I use some of my other fingers pushing against it like that. I can push it in and pinch, and I can look at this side as well. I do that a lot by flipping frames like this. But if you're having to do some special manipulation, it's going to be a little more tricky when you have to start looking, walking away with the frame or setting it in a box or something, and shifting your grip is usually when we drop a frame. Time to open another box that somebody sent me. I'm excited to see what it is. Boy, look at Mr. Bobblehead go. He's really shaking his head over there now that I'm shaking the table a little bit. But I want to find out what is in here. It is from the state of Washington. Lonnie. Hey, Lonnie. Lonnie is a Bee Team 6 member, and Lonnie calls me from time to time with some beekeeping question. Hey, Lonnie, have you ever dropped a frame yet? Bee Team 6 is my mentorship program. I mentor about 200 people across the U.S., and really enjoy that way of helping people. And, Lonnie sent a letter as well, looks like from the top here. Okay, I'm going to read that later because that's pretty lengthy, so thanks, Lonnie. But I want to see what's in here. Wow. It's really fun to get these things from people. Oh, gosh, look at that. Feels like a coffee mug for sure. Yep. Packed really nicely, not broken. Good job, Lonnie. Lonnie has a great personality. When we talk on the phone, he's always real encouraging. Wow, look at that. Oh, Mount St. Helens. Dang, very nice. And all these facts about Mount St. Helens that erupted a few years back. Remember that? That's a great coffee mug, but there's something else in here. And it looks like another. No, this is heavy. Oh, wow. I bet you anything. This might, it's a shirt? Wow. Oh, look at that. A jar of honey. I want to tell you about the honey. Don't go anywhere. I want to tell you about this jar of honey. But look at this shirt. Oh, Mount St. Helens shirt. I don't think I've ever been to the state of Washington. I don't remember. But look at that. That's beautiful. Great. Wow, that is some dark honey. Look how dark that is. Man. In fact, he told me on the phone what plant or tree in the state of Washington produces that dark honey, and I can't remember now. Wow, let's see what it tastes like. Dark honey always has a peculiar taste to it, a little different than light honey. But they say darker honey has a lot more nutrients, it's better for you. So I'm just going to take a little bit here and see what it tastes like. It's not buckwheat, and it's not. It wasn't buckwheat. It wasn't fall asters like goldenrod. It wasn't that. It was something unique. Oh, yeah. Wow. That has, to me, I love it. It has a real interesting flavor. It almost has a hint of a mustard flavor. Not a mustard plant. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying whatever plant it's from has that funny little flavor that almost tastes like a hint of mustard to it. But look how dark it is. Still on my spoon, look how dark it is. Wow. That is really good honey. Thanks, Lonnie. I appreciate it. I've got my address down below. If any of you want to send me a little taste of your honey or a coffee mug, it's a lot of fun. I like to drink out of different coffee mugs from you guys, so it means a lot. Hey, I found this book on Amazon. It's a book that Sherry and I wrote, and I've never seen this one. I had to buy one, bought one myself, because on Amazon it said it comes with a spiral binding to it. Now, the books that we sell from our store here, they're just a book that's, just typical book, but this one is actually has a binding on it where you can do it like that. So whether you buy it off Amazon, where you can also buy the binder like that and use it like a study guide, or buy it from us. If you buy it from us, we'll autograph it for you. Or if you're going to Hive Live, we're going to bring a bunch out to Tennessee, see you out there, and we'll autograph your book, so be sure and bring them out to Hive Live. I'm looking forward to being out there in January. Now, today's video goes really well with another video that I made. Today's video is about making mistakes in beekeeping. It's okay to make mistakes. So watch this video here on getting over your fear of beekeeping. I'll see you over there.